I'm Mark Sponsler from StormSurf.com, and welcome to the surf forecast for the Hawaiian Islands for the week starting Friday, December 16th. Brought to you by your surf authority, expert advice, and friendly staff, Hawaiian South Shore. Be sure and like and subscribe. Ring the bell. You'll get automatic notifications when the videos are posted, typically on Friday evenings. All right, let's get to work. Let's take a quick look at current conditions. We're going to start on the north shore of Oahu, the Waimea Bay buoy, number 106. We're looking at all the energy that's hitting the buoy from way up at 33.3 second period energy, which there's just a little bit, 0.2 of a foot. But still, that's a lot of energy. With a big peak here at about 17 seconds, 16.7 seconds. That's 4 feet just at that one period range, but 2.4 feet up at 18 seconds, 1.5 feet. You get the idea. All this energy from 25 seconds all the way down to about 11 seconds is all part of a new swell that's hitting the islands. And then down here at the far end of the spectrum, we see 5-second period wind chop. Not a whole lot of that. So really, most of the energy is focused in the most energetic bands, right in about the 15 to 17 second period range. Now, if you take all that area under the curve, integrate it together, it tells you what the primary swell is. That is 6.8 feet at 15.8 seconds from 337 degrees. Calculated, that comes to pure surf size at 10.7 foot Hawaiian. Actually looking at current conditions, it's maybe a little bit overstated, but it's pretty solid 10 foot on the North Shore. Not beginner surf, expert only surf. And then we do the same analysis for the South Shore. Barbers Point buoy, number 238. All the energy, now you see, wow, that looks like significant swell. But what this really is wraparound energy from that northwest swell that's hitting the North Shore. And most of this energy is actually not hitting the South Shore. If you look, waves are very small in Waikiki, and most of the South Shore proper breaks. But if you get wraparound, you know where to go. Wraparound energy is getting in on the South Shore. That swell size, again, 5.1 feet at 15.7 seconds from 312 degrees. Theoretically, 8 foot Hawaiian, nowhere near that big. So where's that swell coming from? Well, there was a gale. We're looking at surface level pressure and surface level winds from Tuesday, the 13th of December, so just a couple of days ago. A gale developed on the dateline, producing 45-knot north winds, and then built as it moved to the east. Better, Hawaii is right there, better in the Hawaii swell window, with 50-knot north winds as we got into early morning on Wednesday, then fading in about the 45-knot range, but aimed due south almost directly at any of the north shores of the Hawaiian Islands. So that's what's produced the swell, and by Thursday, that gale started fading out. So what's coming for the future? Well, we're going to start by looking at the jet stream. And actually, things are looking much, much better than they have been pretty much all fall and all winter. The jet stream, here's Japan right here, is pushing off Japan at about 160 miles an hour, consolidated, pushing the whole way to the dateline, then falling to the south, okay, creating what's known as a trough, a dip in the jet here. That creates a counterclockwise flow aloft in the atmosphere and down at the ocean surface. That's the hallmark of low pressure, and of course low pressure, if it's strong enough, generates winds. Winds, if they're strong enough, get traction on the ocean surface and generate seas. Seas, as they radiate away from the Vetch area, eventually turn into swell, and swell when it hits your beach, Hawaii right there, then that creates surf. Now, this is a new trough and likely a new gale starting to develop above and beyond what's already hitting the North Shore. As we continue into Saturday, that trough starts fading, but yet another deeper trough starts building. Notice winds at almost 200 knots pushing off Japan, lifting north, then falling hard south, digging out this trough even more. Now, the issue is Hawaii is here. The apex of the trough, the bottom of the trough, right here. Literally, it pushes right over the Hawaiian Islands on Monday. So yes, it will generate swell, but the bad news is it also is likely to bring a bunch of weather for the Hawaiian Islands and northwest winds, pretty much blowing things out. But not to be too disappointed, here we are on Wednesday, the 22nd of December, and notice, again, 200-knot winds start building due north of the Hawaiian Islands, carving out another trough. And notice this trough doesn't sink quite as far south, and then pushes off to the east. So potentially another swell behind that. And are we 180 hours out? Yes, we are. But look at this. The jet still consolidated, pushing off Japan the whole way north of Hawaii. This is exactly what you want to see. This is a great winter storm pattern. So this bodes well for the future. Let's go take a look down at the surface. Surface level pressure, surface level winds on Friday, today. So remnants of the previous gale fading up in the Gulf, not really doing anything. But we know another system is supposed to start developing. There we go on Saturday. Little tiny area, 45-knot northwest winds. Hawaii is right there. Targeting the islands, building quickly. Notice this, 40-knot winds over a broad area aimed directly at Hawaii. But the bad news is the gale falls south, and look at this, 30-knot. In fact, we'll pull this away just for a second. 35 to 40-knot northwest winds push just like a couple hundred miles north of the Hawaiian Islands with, there you go, 30-knot northwest winds on Monday morning, the 19th of December, pushing over the Hawaiian Islands. Pretty much a blown-out mess, but not to be undone or worried. Another gale is forecast to start building, here we go, on Wednesday, northwest of the Hawaiian Islands with 30 to 35 knot winds aimed well at the Hawaiian Islands, a little bit of south winds. We'll get into this in a minute, but not getting nearly as close to the Hawaiian Islands. Now, not as strong either, but still definitely capable of generating swell. And then we go out even beyond, and just 1, 2, 3, almost 4 low pressure systems of some magnitude traversing the Pacific, likely generating at least wind swell, if not longer period, let's say 12 or 13 second period swell for a good long run, all aimed at the Hawaiian Islands. So what's the effect of those winds on the ocean surface? Now, this is not our usual wave model. We've been having some technical difficulties, but we're on the right poise to have that fixed. So we're using NOAA's wave model. This is the United States, Hawaii right there, the mainland, the Aleutian Islands up here, Japan. And this is in meters, not in feet. We really want to see at about the yellow point, that's about 18, 19 feet. And when you get up into the next shade of darker yellow, that's pushing 20 feet. So we'll put this in motion. Here we are today, not a whole lot going on, and the increments in time are a little bit smaller than what you're used to seeing. Anyway, as we get into Sunday, the 18th, you see the local gale starting to build with seas about 24, 25 feet, and then building a little bit more as the gale approaches the Hawaiian Islands. That is 33-foot seas, about 900 miles away from the islands. That's a bit too close. You'll end up with a pretty jumbled swell. And then you see the seas literally starting to impact the Hawaiian Islands. The largest seas still north of the islands, but pretty jumbled mess as we get into even Tuesday. Then Wednesday, things start settling down. The next gale starts building here as we get into Thursday, with seas building to about 7.3 meters, something like that, somewhere in there, which would be about 23 feet. That's good for 13, maybe a 14-second period swell. So theoretically, more energy approaching the Hawaiian Islands, and then we're a week out on the models, things settling down after that. So we look at local winds for the Hawaiian Islands. Oahu right here, and right now, a generally mixed wind pattern, not a whole lot going on. Light winds in general. As we get into Saturday, winds turn more trades in about the 5-knot range, something like that. Sunday, winds start turning south. You see the approaching front from the next gale with winds south at about 10 knots and building from the southwest as we get into Monday morning. Very strong winds, 30-knot southwest winds over most of the Hawaiian Islands. You can see almost a series of 2 fronts push through there. By Tuesday, still it's a Kona wind, west-northwest wind flow, all onshore for exposed north-facing breaks. Not particularly great, but by Wednesday, things start settling down, a light wind regime. The next front starts setting up as we get into Thursday. Light winds from the south, we're talking 1 to 5 knots, something like that. Friday, that front starts falling apart and winds return to trades light and that's the end of the day. So we just have the little bit on the Monday, Tuesday into Wednesday kind of time frame with that local swell. But after that, conditions looking pretty good. So putting that all together, we have on Saturday, December 17th, dateline swell fading from 7.1 at 14 seconds early. That's about 10 foot Hawaiian. Maybe 15 foot on the face, something like that, from 330 degrees. Sunday the 18th, that swell continues fading from 5 feet at 13 seconds early. 6.5 foot Hawaiian, we'll say a couple feet overhead, again from 335 degrees. Then on Monday, the next gale starts setting up, with northwest winds building at 25 to 30 knots early, and that wind swell from it building to 10 feet at 11 to 12 seconds later. We'll call it 10 foot Hawaiian from 315 degrees. On Tuesday, that swell continues at about 10.8 feet at 15 seconds. We'll say 15 foot Hawaiian, again from 315 degrees, but the west wind backing off some, 5 to 10 knots. Then finally on Wednesday, December 21st, trades or a southeast trade, 1 to 5 knots, with that gale swell fading from 8 feet at 13 seconds, so maybe 10 foot Hawaiian, we'll say 12, 13 feet on the face, something like that, from 325 degrees. And looking beyond, swell coming up again from yet another gale over the dateline. So it looks like winter is finally starting to kick in. Swell hitting the North Shore with more for the early part of the weekend. A more windier, raw swell pattern for the early part of next week. But then beyond that, possibly another swell with better winds and better conditions. And maybe not as much size, a little bit more moderate. Certainly surfable. Waves somewhere probably all week long. All right, and the pattern, even beyond that, looking even better. So, winter is here. Be sure to do all your shopping at Hawaiian South Shore. Like and subscribe, ring the bell so you can get automatic notifications when these videos are posted. And we'll see you again next week. Same time, same channel. Thanks for watching.